Deep two, yes. Dropped it for the corner.
Pull up, three. Good.
Step back, throw. That's a good shot for three.
Stepping through off the window, good. Stepping through the raindrops and the finish on the right hand.
And everything's going to Boomers' way with back-to-back threes. The Boomers, a WNBL chance. Step back, throw. That's a good shot for three.
Stepping through off the window, good. Stepping through the raindrops and the finish on the right hand.
And everything's going to Boomers' way with back-to-back threes. The Boomers, a WNBL chance.
A super Saturday in the Women's National Basketball League, and we have got a beauty, a top four clash between two teams who are seemingly finals bound. It's the Southside Flyers and the Townsville Fire from the State Basketball Centre. The third place Flyers taking on the fourth place Townsville Fire as well. There's stars on both rosters that'll be lining up today, and we're looking forward to bringing you all of the action right here on your home of hoops. Ben Waterworth with you alongside a long-time WNBL assistant coach, Mark Alabakoff. Mark, welcome along. You got in for a long shift today, doing 3 games, but we have got a cracker for the second game of our triple header. Welcome to you.
Thank you. Yeah, a heck of a basketball game we've got in store for this one. As you alluded to, 2 finals-bound teams, at least if the early goings are any indication, but 2 teams that can also stake their claim for being a championship contender, and this one might have implications for where finals placings may sit come the back end of the season.
I know it is early, but and as we have a look at the Southside team as well, and we see that Lauren Jackson isn't part of the starting 5 today. She has been part of the starting 5 in recent times, but they've gone with Bishop and Blitzarves as their bigs to start.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can do worse. You've got 2 players that have played multiple games for our nation in the Opals, and 2 really tough offensive talents that they're going to be tough to stop close to the basket, but then both have the ability to shoot the 3.
Yeah, we do see the GOAT on screen with the top on, but we hopefully get to see a little bit of Lauren Jackson, the greatest of all time in Australian hoops, on the court today. We see Sarah Blitzarves and Beck Cole as well. They'll be important members of the Flyers team today as we have a look at the Townsville Fire side, and we want to in particular point out that their 2 guards in Lauren Nicholson and Steph Reed, who have had monumental starts to their 2022-23 WNBL campaigns.
They really have, and Nicholson is just a tough athlete to stop. She's also a threat from the 3-point line, but does a fantastic job of getting to the rim, especially when she's able to get onto her left hand. She's physical. She plays off the bounce in a manner where she can bully her way to the rim and get on the free throw line and make the old school 3-point play. And Reed is having a career season as a point guard.
Steph Reed being talked about, had a little bit of exposure to the green and gold in recent times, but she has got all the kind of hallmarks of a future Opal at some stage, Steph Reed.
She does. A fantastic game manager. You watch her just control the tempo that the Fire plays with. She's leading the league in assists with nearly 8.5 assists per game. And while the Townsville Fire are second last in the league in field goal attempts, the field goal percentage that they shoot at is equal first. So the quality of shot that they get, they're able to knock down, and it's all based upon her ability to manage the game for them.
See Tiana Hawkins on screen just there. What a hiccup she's been for the Townsville Fire. Long-time WNBA player, WNBA champion, 3rd in the league for points at the moment. Important that she steps up along with Michaela Roof, obviously without Zatina Akuzo, who you can see in the sitting on the bench there, currently out through injury. So it's important that their bigs step up. Shannon Seabohm on screen as well, the Townsville Fire coach. Someone said to me during the week that he's coaching as well as he ever has in the WNBL. So looking forward to seeing what his Townsville Fire troops can do. What are you expecting from 2 teams who, from a ladder position, Mark, are quite evenly matched?
it's going to be quite the tussle. And I think, I alluded to earlier that Townsville has the ability to control tempos of games.
Yep.
And, you look at the games that have played across the course of the season, 82.5% of game time, they've been in the lead in these contests. So this is a great test for them to come up against potentially another title contender with the amount of Opals level talent that the Flyers have. The Flyers come off a fantastic win over West, actually, against the Perth Lynx, so they get a chance to play on their home floor. We want to get this one to give themselves a little bit of a buffer within that top four, but then also, as I alluded to earlier, a win that'll potentially determine head-to-head.
We talked about the Opals hallmarks and trademarks of Steph Reid before, but my goodness, Maddie Rocci is really starting to up her game. She's been building for a couple of years, and took some big steps forward last season, but coming off a couple of monster games for the Southside Flyers, she's going to be one to watch today.
She really is, and that's a great matchup with her and Steph Reid. Her being able to get to the rim, she's as quick as any guard that we've got within the country, and if she's able to play in space or in transition, off an outlet pass, she can be really damaging with her ability to score, but get others involved in the game as well.
So we mentioned Zatina Akuzo, who's out with a broken ankle at the moment. She's likely going to be returning in January. Also, Kate Gaze is back, though, for the Townsville Fire. She's been part of our broadcasts in recent times, doing some fantastic work as well. But now she's back out on the court and brings some really handy experience off the bench for the Fire.
Is there anything she can't do? She's been brilliant. So her ability to come in and play a role in that team, she brings a veteran leadership, but then the commodity of the three-point shooting, any team can use that. So you can inject her into the game for small stints or potentially as a strategic move if the team is playing a zone defense, for example, and she's always a threat to go on a string of made threes.
See the Coach Seabohm there addressing his starting five just before the start of this contest as well. You saw Samuelson, number 44, as part of that starting lineup there, without Morgan Yeager as well. He's sort of out for the next 6 to 8 weeks due to injury, an injured back as well, so they'll be missing her. She's made a real splash last season in the WNBL, and Townsville glad to have her on board this season. So that's the reason why we're just held up a little bit at the moment. Always nice to get, make sure the rim and the backboard are all in working order, and no, there's nothing certainly that a bit of strong tape can't do. A little bit of work being done on the rim, but looks like we'll be good to go in just a few moments. Townsville Fire, 3 wins and 2 losses so far in their WNBL campaign, and Southside third on the ladder with a 4-2 record. And Townsville, they've stayed in Melbourne. They had a game on Wednesday night against the Bulls, a cracking contest, that one, so they've stayed in Melbourne. So they've had a few days, Mark, to sort of bond as a unit.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's really important with their lineup, especially where you're going to have a little bit of your depth tested, perhaps with the injuries to Yeager and Akuso, as you mentioned. Their starters are going to need to log a lot of minutes.
Underway, Samuelson off the tip, puts it in for 3, just like that. The perfect start for Samuelson and the Fire. They are on the board early stages and shut the State Basketball Centre home fans up. Now we have our first look at the Flyers on offense. Lovely little crossover on that occasion from Thornton, and she knocks it down. The perfect response at the other end of the floor.
A massive shot, 2 big shots by 2 big players to start the game.
Great to have you with us wherever you're watching around the country, checking out some Cygnett WNBL action, the second game of our triple header on 9 now. Long shot from Tiana Hawkins is just off target, and that trickles out of bounds. We're just talking about Maddie Rocci beforehand. There it is, that matchup between Rocci and Reid. They're on each other here, and it's going to be one to watch all day. Cole finds Rocci, he goes to work, steps back, hoping to knock down the 2. None forthcoming, and a stop here for Tiana Hawkins and the Fire. Roof works her way into the key, almost unopposed in the end, then lost the handle of the Spalding. Flyers on the fast break here, although Rocci just fumbled at the wrong time. Good defense from Reid. And at the other end, knocking it down, another triple for Kayla Thornton.
A massive start by her, and we could have an injury here down the far end.
Yeah, just at the other end of the floor, as the Flyers were winning the ball back on defense, Fire player has gone down, and not in a good way as well. Shannon Seabohm straight out there. And the staff arrives.
I believe it's Michaela Roof going to the basket on that last dribble penetration. It looked like she landed a little bit awkwardly.
And we know, and we hope for the best for Michaela, because we know that she's had her injury troubles a lot in the past couple of years as well. I mean, she missed a fair chunk of almost an entire season, when she was on the Canberra roster due to some issues with from a visa perspective and trying to get a permanent residency here in Australia. She's getting help to her feet now, so that's a good sign. But we have everything crossed from Michaela Roof, who who's linked up with the Fire, being assisted from the court now. That's a big loss for the Fire. She is indeed out for the rest of the game. We all know Akuzo already out for a number of weeks, so they don't want to lose another big for too long.
And she's really important to that team. I think she's played her best basketball under Coach Shannon Seabohm even a lifetime ago at the Sydney Flames, and would have had full faith joining him here at the Townsville Fire that she could recoup that.
We saw Lara McSpadden come onto the floor to replace Roof. And McSpadden, long-time WNBL player, also the Sydney Uni Flames as well. As Nicholson tries to get inside, good defense from Bishop not to give away the foul. Shot clock running down. Reed passes it off, but it's pinched in the end. And coming away with it is Thornton. He's had a hot start in this game. She's already got the 5 points for the Flyers. Pick around for Blitzer. Knocks it down.
It's elite level floor spacing by the Southside Flyers. A great dribble penetration and read by Beck Cole to get Blitzer off the ball.
The quickest players in the competition, Beck Cole, particularly on transition. Flyers with an early scoreboard advantage. Reed for Nicholson. Tries to wrong step her opponent in Thornton, and she's just too good, and continuing her hot form at the offensive end of the floor.
A lot of defensive pressure there from the Southside Flyers as well. You notice that the ball reversal for the Fire has been like right up around halfway.
Oh, she's feeling it. She's seriously feeling it at the moment. Kayla Thornton got most of the Flyers score. She's hot from deep. Reed. Samuelson. Hawkins looking for McSpadden inside. Foul is called by referee Jason Kelly. First one of the game. Hot start at the offensive end of the floor for the Flyers, led by Kayla Thornton, who has 8 of the Flyers' 11 points so far. Seven on the shot clock. A handy tip away there from Abby Bishop.
We see the length, just the sheer size of the Southside Flyers players just forces you to play disrupted with the angles that you want to have within your half-court offense. Great deflection by Abby Bishop.
So 5 on the shot clock here for the Fire to get one up. And again, that great hustle defense. And the shot clock has reset here. There was a brief turnover in favour of the Flyers, and it works out perfectly for the Fire as Hawkins finishes underneath the basket. The Lux of fortune there for Townsville. What have the Flyers got at the other end of the floor? Rochi passes inside for Bishop. Looking for a handoff. Blitzarves goes to work. Lovely pick and roll there with Bishop. Kicking it all the way out for Maddie Rochi. With 3 seconds on the shot clock, there was a foul as she shot. And Steph Reed can't believe it. And Maddie Rochi will be heading to the stripe.
They do a really good job, the Townsville Fire, in being able to rotate as the ball is in the air. So you watch the flight time of when the ball gets passed. They're all moving and rotating to their next spot on the floor defensively, so they can be in positions to contest that shot. Unfortunately, got her hand in there and had the foul drawn, Steph Reed, but they do a tremendous job in their half-court defense.
Hasn't been her best free throw shooting season so far, Maddie Rochi. Prior to this round, she was 7 of 15 from the free throw line. She's started off okay here. Maddie Rochi, we all know how much of a quality player she is. Not just a player of the future, but a player of the now in Australian hoops. 6.5 to play in the first quarter. Nicholson working the ball hard up the floor. Samuelson from deep knocks it down. Good response by the Fire. The Flyers go to work at the other end. Thornton thought about another triple attempt. Bishop though, v McSpadden, you back Bishop. And McSpadden did well in the end not to give away the foul and the stop for the Fire.
Yeah, Bishop does a really good job of being able to leverage body contact. So she catches the ball and she wants...
Sorry, Mark. Beck
Right.
Cole just sort of comes out of nowhere and says, not in my house, and blocks the triple attempt and sends it back over the baseline.
A heck of a closeout by Beck Cole.
Beck Cole indeed said no. And then a pass, a sloppy pass as well, allows a fast break, and Matty Rodgey to hit the layup. High-octane stuff from the Flyers. The Fire are one of the best first-quarter teams in the WNBL so far this season, but the Flyers with the early advantage here, and just these little hands are really causing an issue for the Townsville Fire on offense. They win the ball back here, the Flyers, but early stages, the defense from the Flyers has been pretty impressive, Mark.
Yeah, and it's really going to be, I think, the hallmark of their season. There's no shortage of offensive potency, I guess, from that Flyers team, and they've got the ability to play on the three-point line, go to the post. They've had some success with Lauren Jackson and Abby Bishop playing a high-low post type of action, but their defense is really what's going to put them fair and square in the picture if they're going to challenge for a championship. They're second in steals and blocks combined in the entirety of the competition. So if they can keep down that path, I think it's going to serve them well.
So this time out brought to you by CTM Sport. Are you considering travelling interstate with your basketball team? Consider CTM Sport for a competitive, innovative and customised travel solution that puts your team on top. Head to ctmsport.com.au to learn more, and be interesting to see what particularly Coach Shannon has to say to the Townsville Fire as well. There's been a couple of sloppy passes as well. There's no turnovers yet for the Townsville, for the Southside Flyers, and the Fire have had 3 themselves so far. So hopefully they can take better care of the Sporting from here on in from a Townsville perspective.
And just get into their rhythm. So where their strength is being able to execute from a game plan standpoint within the half court, they've been sped up by the Flyers. So you see a whole lot of quicker decisions. It's one bounce and they kick the ball ahead. You get the corner Samuelson 3, which lands, but that's not the style that they want to play.
Yep. Samuelson 2 of 2 from deep at the moment for the Fire. Now Matty Rodgey for Cole. Star of his competition for a long time. That is a star pass as well. Beautifully done. Set up Carly Ernst, who's come onto the court and immediately had an impact.
She's a really tough matchup because she's got the ability to shoot the 3, so she often likes to pop out to the 3-point line. When she rolls like that at 6'5", the ball's in the hoop before you even know where it is.
Reed off the screen. Beautiful crossover. An aggressive drive and the finish as well. She's a wonderful player, Steph Reed. At the other end, Thornton with authority. Thought she was going to the hoop, kicked it out for Blitzarves instead. She can't hit the triple. That's off the hands of Cole, and the Fire win the ball back.
I'm really liking the floor spacing of the Flyers at the moment. So both vertically and horizontally, they're keeping the floor spread. They're able to get to the rim off the bounce, and then they're making good reads when the Fire defenders come and help.
Crowd at the State Basketball Centre lifts on your Saturday afternoon. Hawkins, mid-range 2 there, misfires. Rodgey goes to work. Ernst thought about that 3, instead went inside. Kicked it out, great ball movement from the Flyers. Rodgey for the deep 2, well off target. Hawkins brings down the defensive rebound. So Fire just starting to create a couple more stops. Nicholson aggressive, step inside, draws the contact and will head to the line to shoot a couple.
And she's tough to stop when she goes on her left hand with that dribble. She gets to your body and she's able to hold you off and keep a straight line drive to the rim. There she had the step through back onto her right hand. Does a really good job of playing through contact and gets herself onto the free throw line.
And we all know the quality of player that Lauren Nicholson is and how She's such an improved player as well, you know, considered one of the best off the bench, certainly during her time at the Adelaide Lightning, but really thrived, Mark, since joining the Townsville Fire.
And she's relentless with her competitiveness, and I think that that's a real hallmark for her. So whether she's trying to win the game on every single possession or she's fighting for loose balls, you always get her best.
Averaging the 20 points per game so far this season, Lauren Nicholson, and 63% from beyond the arc. Cole worked her way towards the stripe. She'll count that as an assist, surely. It was the missed shot. Nonetheless, she set up Blitzards for the 2. Hawkins has 3 to beat underneath the rack here. Great defense from the Flyers. They win the travel as well. Big confidence-boosting effort from Southside.
And the sheer size of Southside can just be bothersome.
On song from Southside in this first quarter. Rochi got rid of Steph Reed. No call from the referee for either side there. Ball trickles out of bounds, and it will still be a Southside ball with 13 seconds on the clock, but we can already see Maddie Rochi really trying to dictate the tempo of this contest.
Absolutely, and I'd argue that Steph Reed is probably the guard that does the best defensive job on Rochi, so it's going to be interesting to see which one of those two wins the arm wrestle, whether the move defensively from Reed is then countered by Maddie Rochi and vice versa throughout the contest.
2 points for Reed, 4 points for Rochi early stages of this one. Rochi with the pass for Blitzards for Cole, for Ernst, who steps back for 3. All oxygen on that attempt, but the Flyers do keep it in, but straight to Steph Reed. Will she use her pace to burn off her opponents? She will. She thought about going to Hawkins, went herself, missed with the left-hand attempt. And at the other end, great ball movement, great recognition from the Flyers, and Blitzards has been dangerous on the scoreboard early.
That's an outstanding pass by Amy Rochi.
Amy Rochi on the floor. Long range attempts there. Off target from Courtney Woods. A rushed attempt almost. Had a bit more patience. And it will be a Southside baseline ball with just under 3 minutes remaining. And a well-deserved rest here for... I thought Amy Rochi was coming to the bench, but she's going to stay out there.
The Flyers really sticking to the scout. Courtney Woods is a really good three-point shooter, so even though she's come off the bench here, they chased her off that screen. Were able to bother the shot.
Ernst, quick hands. Maddie Rochi would have almost put the ball up herself. Was unselfishly went to look for a teammate, turned the ball over. Nicholson takes on 3 or 4 Flyers. Potch comes up with a steal. She is back on the floor. Look at the athleticism. That was an exciting piece of play from Naju Potch. Now Nicholson at the other end goes for her own drive. She misfires. And Amy Rochi using all her experience to slow the tempo down here. Blitzards hoping for the handoff. Thought about Potch, went herself, fading away. That's a tough shot. Well off target in the end. And the Flyers off to the races. And that is going to be 3 free throws coming up for Lauren Nicholson.
I thought they did a great job there, the Townsville Fire, of being able to highly contest that last possession. And then anything that you get, quality team like the Flyers shooting a contested shot, you want to try and rebound that thing and run it down your end as quick as possible with space, and they get a set of free throws out of it.
The top point scorers there for Thornton with 8 for the Flyers, and Blitzards as well with 7. Those two have been a handful so far in this one for the Townsville defence. Again, Lauren Nicholson at the free throw line, been a very reliable free throw shooter for many years. Been such a joy to watch her develop from such a strong defensive player into a real well-balanced guard. The point where she's been right in hopeless contention in the past couple of years. 2 from 2 so far from these free throw attempts. And she keeps it at 100% to reduce the margin to 4 points. A couple of substitutions. Amy Rochi goes to work. Thornton and Potch Amy Rochi inside for Ernst. Great cut. Didn't quite come off on that occasion, though. Conti on the floor. Great to see. I think Conti back in the WNBL in the past week or so. What a step from Amy Rochi. In and out it went. Fire now can have a look. And beautifully worked from the Townsville Fire. Nicholson involved. And just like that, the Fire back within a couple of points.
Defensive change up here by the Fire. They're in a 2-3 zone to kind of disrupt a little bit of the rhythm of the Flyers.
Ernst misfires, and another stop for Townsville. Just over a minute remaining. Lovely step from Nicholson. She fires and hits, and we're all tied up at the SBC.
She's made a career out of that pull-up elbow jumper. She's as steady a hand as there is shooting that shot.
It's a good fight back here from Townsville. I think 2 top 4 teams going at it. Almost forced the turnover. 5 to shoot here for Monique Conti and the Southside Flyers. Kicks it out for Ernst, for Thornton. And she hits! It cannot be stopped from deep today. Kayla Thornton putting on a masterclass from the car park. 11-second differential between game and shot clocks here. Nicholson has really lifted late in this first quarter, and she gets the lucky roll to make it a 1-point ball game. Amy Rochi goes to work. Not again, surely not. Kayla Thornton with a rare miss from deep. McSpadden. The prayer is put up on the Fire, and it's just off target. A breathtaking first quarter between the Southside Flyers and the Townsville Fire. 2 top 4 teams going at it, and we're getting a top 4 quality game at that. Southside Flyers 24, Townsville Fire 23 at quarter time. Ben Waterworth with you alongside Mark Alabakoff, and a close look at this one from the State Basketball Centre. And a good fight back late in that term, Mark, by the Townsville Fire.
There really was, and it looked like they started to play at the tempo of game that they wanted. So they were far more in rhythm. You got Nicholson involved in the play from an offensive standpoint. To the contrary, the Southside Flyers, I think the spacing that they're playing with and the decisions that they're making, they've got 9 assists in this first quarter, so they're playing together, the ball's getting shared, and then it keeps everybody a threat. The efficiency, though, of the lesser opportunities that perhaps the Fire have been able to create, as I mentioned earlier, they just do such an efficient job of creating good shots that they can hit, and then they stay within touch. We've got a heck of a game to come.
Maybe you'd be looking at those numbers as well, Mark, and if you're Cheryl Chambers, you're probably looking at the rebound count and thinking probably crash the board would be handy right about now.
Potentially, they're making a lot of baskets, so there's not really been huge opportunity. I'd be more happy with the quality of play that they've had. Certainly how they started the game on the defensive end, they were highly disruptive, sped up the way that the Fire like to play, and being a group that has the second in the league in terms of steals and blocks, their disruption has been demonstrated against different types of opponents. Can they sustain that over the next 3 quarters?
So almost set for the second quarter. Still didn't see any of Lauren Jackson, but we saw Carly Ernst come onto the floor and immediately have an impact. And Carly, for a player that's well into the 190 centimetre range as well, has such wonderful length and such a great shot as well from deep. I suppose we saw a glimpse there, I suppose, of what a lot of analysts have been, I've worked with over the years, Mark, have been wanting to see from Carly for a long time, is to try and have that presence inside the perimeter.
Absolutely, and I mean, on the perimeter, she has such a gravity about her. I think that the last 3-point shot that we had there from Kayla Thornton was really Carly Ernst's read. So
yes.
She catches the ball, she had a long closeout, made the extra pass. If she can have a presence at the basket as well at 6'5", she could be a 20-point per game player in this league.
Second quarter underway. Bishop back on the floor as well for Southside. Kicks it out for Thornton, for Cole. 10 to shoot here for Bet Cole, who has to go to work on the baseline. Thornton steps inside for the deep 2 attempt, can't knock it down. And Hawkins comes up with her 5th board of the game so far, and Townsville's 13th. +7 rebound differential at the moment in favour of the Fire.
And clearly an adjustment from the Fire there to chase Thornton off the 3-point line, force her to have to make a play off the dribble rather than have rhythm catch and shoot threes.
Reed, tough left-hand attempt. And the Flyers will be disappointed to give away the foul call there. Matty Rocci touch flabbergasted by that. And Reed will be heading to the free throw line to shoot a couple.
They're just unflustered, the Townsville Fire. You just watch the leadership group within, or the veterans, if you want to call them that, within that lineup, the key players. They just move from play to play, and they play the present moment. They don't get too up or down, whether they're up by a big margin or down. They just continue to stay process-driven, and it keeps them in ball games and keeps them at the elite end of the competition.
92% free throw shooter so far this season. Steph Reed, she levels the scores for in this game so far. And that's what it stands after that second attempt, 24 apiece. Early stages of the second quarter. Great to have you with us wherever you're watching, right around the country. On 9 now. Hawkins was hoping for Bishop inside, but a clever hand in there from Hawkins forces the turnover.
I think Bishop released the contact early. You've got one set of hands to clear. If she's able to hold that contact till she releases to catch it, it would have been 2 points.
Second turnover for the Flyers there, and that's a long attempt there from McSpadden. Along 2 attempts, and it drops to give the Fire the lead. Bishop, beautiful cut from Cole, and did well to get over the defense and hit the 2.
Fantastic off-ball cutter. I mean, she's tough to deal with off the dribble as it is, but having coached Beck Cole before, she's as elite a cutter off the ball as I've seen in the competition.
So that on display just then. Reed kind of, I think that was a pass to McSpadden. Leaves Samuelson wide open for 3 and knocks down another. Townsville Fire with a responding basket at the other end. Samuelson's 3rd triple of the game so far. Bishop gets a little bit of space to work with and makes the most of it, lays it in. I can see that acceleration there from Abby Bishop inside the perimeter. And how powerful she is. He's going to be a travel against Samuelson.
We could have another momentum swing here with the Flyers, with a great basket there from Bishop and then a defensive stop. If they can convert here, they can start to steer the rhythm their way.
Another great defensive play from Beck Cole. So that well-timed block in the first quarter. She's also got 3 assists as well for the Southside Flyers.
Staying in the 2-3 zone, the Townsville Fire.
Thornton, beautiful cut again inside from Beck Cole. There it is, she goes again, Mark.
And she catches high too, so she catches the ball by her shoulder where all she has to do is lift it into the hoop. She gets her feet down, she's always on balance. It's tough to stop her because of the high catch point. Within a 1 beat, the ball's in the hoop.
Nicholson has a good look for 3 there, falling well short, and a long rebound for Blitzarves, who was busy on the scoreboard in that first quarter with 7. Thornton backing down, got rid of her opponent and couldn't finish. Nicholson did well not to give away the foul as well. Ball in the hands of Steph Reed. Just starting to come into the game a little bit more in this second quarter. Nicholson grits the teeth. Can't find a way into the basket though. Hawkins lost control. Blitzarves just a little stunned. And it allowed the ball to trickle out to Reed, who hits the 3. Steph Reed up to 6 points in this game so far. Cole at the other end. Can't respond with her own triple. Normally a very good 3-point shooter. She has a second crack though, and it's second time lucky for Beck Cole.
Doesn't often miss 2 in a row, and she's really added that 3-point shot to her game in recent seasons. So where she's traditionally been known as a driver, to be able to balance out with that 3-point shot makes her really hard to guard.
Reed drives again and again draws the contact and will head to the line. And just on Beck Cole as well, we know how good of a 3-on-3 player that she is, but that ability to hit the triple has not only helped her in a 3-on-3 game, but also got her right back into that the 5-on-5 Opals contention.
Yeah, and it could be argued that she's probably been someone that's been unlucky in recent years, being out of contention. So it's fantastic to see her recognised for the progress that she's made with her game. Her past 5 years, she's really taken a steep, upward swing in the ability for her to contribute on the national scale.
Finished runner-up in the MVP, the Susie Bakovic medal a couple of years ago. Beck Cole, and been a constant presence for this Southside franchise ever since the move across from the Boomers. That really been a revelation for Southside. Reed hits, and the Townsville Fire continuing to really take it up to the Flyers on the Southside home floor. Of course, moving to the to the State Basketball Centre this year. Southside Flyers, southeast of Melbourne. Blitzarbs for Thornton, for Bishop, for Cole. Mid-range two. Trying to show off all her tricks. The drive, the triple, and the mid-range two. Now she'll have a look crack from beyond the perimeter. She's feeling it, Beck Cole. Timeout called. She's pumped. And she gets momentum. It's not a timeout call. We'll just ensure that the sweat's wiped off the floor. But when Beck Cole has her tail up, she is such a hard player to stop.
She's like a snowball that just gains momentum and gets bigger and bigger in terms of her presence on the contest. So not only is she a fantastic basketballer from the jump, but when she's rolling, it's a real headache to try to stop.
10 points now for Beck Cole. Nicholson underneath the basket, though, responds. She's got 15 so far in this game, Lauren Nicholson. Amy Rochi hands off for Blitzarbs. Back for Amy Rochi, for Bishop, one-on-one here with Hawkins. Kicking it out for the hot hand. Cole inside with a bullet-like pass to Bishop, who can't hit on the fadeaway. Reed picks up the tempo, takes on Bishop, and is fouled by Bishop.
And her agility off the dribble and the way she's able to change direction, or you saw her throw a little bit of a in and out there on the right hand. She can wrong foot defenders who are backing up to try and stay between her and the basket and put them in positions where they have to foul her like that.
Steph Reed at the line once again, getting a lot of her points from the free throw line today. She's now 4 of 5 from the charity stripe. To make that 5 or 6 for the emerging guard. Amy Rochi seeing a lot of court time. Haven't seen a lot of Maddie Rochi so far in this quarter. Amy Rochi goes to work. Blitzarbs working on the baseline. She's got a lot of room to work with though now. 5 to shoot. Amy Rochi, normally very good in the clutch situation. Falling well short, though, of the rim. And Reed has Hawkins to her left, or Nicholson to her right. Went the ladder. And it didn't quite drop for Nicholson, but a terrific rebound from Hawkins. She's been excellent off the glass so far in this game.
It's been a real swing towards the Fire. If I'm Coach Cheryl Chambers, I'm thinking about a timeout if we get a score here from Townsville.
Woods keeps it alive. Reed has to put it up. The prayer is not answered. And Southside can regroup here. Quite the momentum. They still only are a bucket within touching distance, but the Fire have had the better of the Flyers in this second term. Blitzarbs, long range two, is off target. Nicholson proving to be such a handful. She draws the contact. Disappointed she couldn't hit the two, but she'll have an opportunity to shoot a couple from the stripe. Here is that timeout. It will be called as we now have an opportunity to see both teams be addressed by their respective coaches. This timeout is brought to you by Cygnett. To stay connected with the latest WNBL news and social highlights, keep your favourite tech charged up at home or on the go with Cygnett's extensive range of charging products and digital accessories. A big thanks to Cygnett for powering the WNBL with high-quality tech this season. Explore their range at cygnett.com. Power your life with Cygnett. You called for Cheryl Chambers to hopefully have that timeout, Mark. What do you think Cheryl would be saying to her side at the moment, just before half-time?
I think there's two things. First and foremost, it's just to kill a little bit of the momentum swing that started to go the Townsville Fire's way. I would probably be trying to run one of their offenses that gets the ball inside. So you're trying to take a little bit of the pace out of the play, put yourself in a position where your size advantage might be a little bit of a boon for you, or put you in a spot where you might get fouled and just start to slow the tempo a little bit and regain some of that momentum yourself. For Coach Shannon Seabom, to the contrary, this gives you an opportunity out of these free throws to perhaps counter that with some type of defensive disruption. So it might be up the floor pressure, you might stay in that zone, or you might even combine the two things to try and anticipate that the Flyers will be going to something patterned per se to get a shot that they want.
And you mentioned the ability to draw fouls just then. So the Southside Flyers have committed 7 fouls so far, and Townsville Fire just 1. And Reed and Nicholson have drawn 3 fouls apiece themselves. Their ability to work inside the perimeter drive, drawing a lot of fouls and heading to the free throw line.
Well, with the size that the Flyers do have, they're still the second most foul-prone team in the competition. Yep. So I'd say that that's something that Coach Shannon Seabom would be very aware of. And you see the extended pressure here that we mentioned. And trying to get the ball inside or get the Flyers on the move and then into perhaps pick and roll actions where they're having to defend while rotating and potentially fouling.
Amy Rocci, the Bishop again, those quick hands on display, but was knocked out of the hands of Thornton there. Another stop here for the Fires. Reed again tries to go hard inside, a long-range attempt. Target from Woods. McSpadden, though, draws the contact. Another foul against the Flyers. Much to Abby Bishop's dismay, they will be heading to the free throw line again.
And that's a great drive there. You can't be afraid when you play against a team the quality of the Flyers. There's an intimidation that you'll have, or some teams can have, given the amount of experience, Opal's level talent. I keep mentioning their sheer size, but they do play a factor. They're a line that you need to look in the eye and really take on if you're going to beat them, especially on their home floor.
McSpadden at the free throw line. He's stepping up. It suggests a fair bit now with Michaela Roof, who's just joined us. Michaela Roof went off pretty early in the match with an injury. Being assessed by the Townsville Fire staff. Conti back on the floor. Ernst, great cut from Blitzard inside. Great recognition from Ernst. Blitzard gets the 2.
So explosive with her first step for such a tall athlete too. When she gets ahead of steam up, she could be tough to impede her cut to the basket.
Just under 3 minutes remaining so far in this game, in this half rather. Townsville Fire have had an excellent second quarter as we see Steph Reed heading to the line again. Now 20 points to 14 in favour of Townsville in this second quarter. They've really flipped the script so far. And the Flyers at one stage a lead of 7 points in the second quarter. The Fire lead by 6 themselves.
Executing a game plan perfectly. I mentioned that the Flyers are the second most foul-prone team in the league in terms of total fouls for the season. Being able to prey on that or game plan for that from the Fire has got them 16 free throw attempts still with time to go within this first half. Whereas to the contrary, the Flyers have only been on the charity stripe 3 times themselves.
Cheryl Chambers, a very experienced coach, dual WNBL championship winning coach, firstly with the Sydney Uni Flames and then with the Southside Flyers in the hub season in late 2020. Which I'll recognise, coach, that you've worked with a number of times. Mark, what are some of Cheryl's strengths and her ability to motivate her group?
Yeah, I mean, well, too many to name, to be honest. But the standouts for me would be her ability to build community, to make everybody feel valued and that their contributions matter in the bigger picture. That galvanizing, I guess, presence that she has brings together this top-line talent that she's able to recruit and has them playing with and for one another wherever Cheryl coaches.
A bit to think about just before half-time. Cheryl Chambers and the Southside Flyers, they're down by 6, so they're by as much as 7. Nick Conti, great to have her back in the league, but quintessentially picking up the tempo. Ernst, long 3 attempts, a great 3 attempts from Carly Ernst. Damaging for a player of her height and beyond the arc.
Underrated is her high release point of her three-point shot. So even when you're there to contest it, she's 6'5" and her reach is nearly 7 foot when she's getting a shot.
Lovely pass from Reed. Hawkins couldn't connect though. And the 3. An opportunity here for the Flyers off the stop. Ernst. There's some movement up ahead. Conti behind the back work there. Wants the cut from Cole. Had a bit too much juice in the pass, but Cole's still up to the task. Turns around and hits the 2, and the Flyers are back within 1. And Hawkins almost turned it over, did turn it over. Great read from Thornton. And the momentum swing here for the Southside Flyers. Ernst for 3. Couldn't quite get that one to go.
You really probably need a score here from this possession if you're Townsville. If you were able to come up empty and then cop a basket back the other way, it might be time for Shannon Seabom to look at a timeout of his own just to kill this run before the end of the half.
Reed for Hawkins for 3, can't get it to go. Another rebound for Thornton. Just over a minute remaining now. Conti loops it inside for Ernst. Players at the bench doing the damage. Conti and Ernst in the past couple of minutes, although that pass had a bit too much heat on it for Beck Cole. Wears her heart in her sleeve. As always. Minute and 9 seconds remaining in the game clock. Gutzavs checks back in. Cheryl Chambers says, you're not taking the inbounds pass. Re-gutted by Conti. Samuelson for Hawkins, guarded here by Ernst at the top of the key. Nicholson thought about the 2, instead went for McSpadden, who had a better look, but McSpadden can't connect. Final minute here in this first half. Cole goes to work. Finds a way inside, missed Potch, and threw it out of bounds. 13-second differential between the game and shot clocks here. We tick towards half-time.
It'll be interesting to see what the Fire do with this possession. So you're close to that 40-second mark where you can go for a 2-for-1. Get a quick, good look at the basket. You'll then go back and defend for one possession, but end with the ball to finish the half.
Nicholson tried to drive inside, making a foul called there on Matthew Potch. It's her second personal foul. Well, Potch. Again, Lauren Nicholson will be heading to the free throw line. Nicholson is 7 of 7 so far from the stripe, and that is the ultimate commentator's curse. She's been very accurate so far from this position. Also going at 55% from the field. So making her points count, opportunities count. Still perfect from the stripe. She's got 19 points in this first half alone, Lauren Nicholson. 5-second differential now. Conti crossing over, gets around Reed, wanting the cut and the pick and roll there from Blitzars. Reverse, in and out. And that is off the hands of the Flyers, and the Fire have 9 seconds to work with here just before halftime.
Would have liked that ball to go out to Beck Cole on the perimeter there. You had her defender helping in. So we had 2 defenders on the ball there close to the basket for Blitzarves. If it comes out, that's really been their strength in the first half, where the ball has penalised helping defenders and they've been able to get 15 assists from it.
Oh, it's an offensive foul called. Steph Reed. He's flabbergasted by it. We have it right in front of the referee. Not happy about it. And that was an opportunity for the Fire to run the floor there and try and get a quick shot off with 9 seconds left. Instead now, well, first they have a timeout, but it'll be a baseline ball for the Southside Flyers. They're offensive end of the floor out of this timeout.
Well, whatever you draw up, if you're Cheryl Chambers with the Southside Flyers, you want to end up with the last shot. So you don't want to give the Fire the ball back to be able to get something late or put you in a position where you might foul. You saw Beck Cole go over to take that inbounds pass. So it'll be interesting to see whether she does the same thing. Often you can run a baseline play where the inbounder comes back in, perhaps off a series of screens, to be able to get the ball back. And then where the ball's located on the left side of the basket, that would send Cole onto her preferred right hand in a position of strength, where she's had such a strong presence here in the first half.
Basically the only thing that Steph Reed's done wrong in this first half, she's got 12 points to go with 4 rebounds and a couple of assists. Steph Reed. Nicholson, that's on screen there, 19 points to go with a couple of rebounds. 9 of those 19 coming from the charity stripe. And the top scorers for the Southside Flyers, Cole with 12, most of them coming in the second quarter, Thornton with 11, most of those coming in the first. So Conti will have the inbounds pass here. Still yet to see LJ so far in this game. Oh, Blitzarves went with the shot. It was blocked. Potch then put it up. Got a jump. And the resultant possession arrow is with the Townsville Fire. Blitzarves thought there was 0.9 of a second left rather than 9 seconds left on the clock. Nicholson will put it up from the car park and misses, but that's a terrific second quarter from the Townsville Fire. 23 points to 19 in the second. They have a 46-43 half-time lead in this Cygnett WNBL clash, but Mark Alabakov, it has been a game of momentum swings, like most basketball games are, but it's been a game of momentum swings, and it feels like it's going to be an arm wrestle right up until the final buzzer today.
I think it will be. It's swings and roundabouts, like you said. Both teams being able to play to their identity and then get a little bit of the arm wrestle towards their favour. So you saw the Southside Flyers start with a heap of energy on the defensive end, forced a lot of rush play from the Fire. They were able to share the ball on their offensive side, get multiple people on the scoreboard. They've got 3 scorers, Cole, Thornton and Blitzarves, who are above double digits or near enough too. And then 15 assists on the board, means the ball's being shared. They're able to create shots for one another, and I think that's how they want to play. Then you look at the Fire, they've been able to play at the tempo, and we mentioned it pre-game about their controlling of it has them at 82.5% of the games that they've played, they've been in the lead. So the Townsville Fire, being able to get on the free throw line 19 times, they've controlled the tempo or been able to strangle it back whenever it's gone across to the Southside Flyers. So this one is the proverbial arm wrestle, and we've got a 3-point.
Yeah, that is you can see there's some of the numbers on the screen as well. 4% from beyond the arc of Southside Flyers, but it is the Fire who have a 3-point advantage at halftime. We'll take a short break here from the State Basketball Centre and be back with the second half in this cracker Cygnett WNBL clash.
For 3 and nails it from deep. Nice move from Maley and another basket for her.
The third quarter onwards. Maley off the window, good, wow. Turns it over, Bell there, ready to grab it. Put some speed on, little behind that pass to Munro for the finish.
I think we might see that in the top 5 plays of the week.
Wilson straight to the rack and scores. Oh, now turnover, and guess who? Kelsey Griffin goes up, layup. Straight to the basket, and it gets it to fall. Long-range shot is good from Whittle.
It's our first $50.
Share the dignity. $50 for every three-pointer sunk across round 4.
Cygnett is thrilled to be able to donate $5,000 to share the dignity.
Throws it out. Three-point basket. Another $50 for the fighting period poverty round. Final total of $8,750. Absolutely outstanding.
To be able to see the girls talking about periods and just get over it, and the normality of talking, having these conversations is so, makes my heart sing.
Prepare your taste buds.
Hungry?
Famished.
For 6 delicious nights on 9.
Dare to replicate the snack.
Australia's best chefs. Head-to-head, recreating our most iconic snacks.
I think I stuffed this up. Get it together. I know you've got this.
It looks like salt and pepper calamari.
New Snack Masters. Stream the latest episodes on 9 now.
No, they don't teach MPI schools how to get the money shot.
They're undercover.
What are you doing?
That is how you get the money shot.
Cracking cases
Nothing says I'm stalking you like a hidden camera.
the old-fashioned way. Jason Priestley.
Are you nuts?
It's a rental.
Private Eyes. Stream complete seasons on 9 now.
You ever get that feeling that one choice could change your whole life?
What if you chose passion?
And what is it that you want to do?
I'm gonna be the next Billy Joel. Guy can dream, right?
What if you chose family?
You saved a man's life. Your dad would be proud of you.
What if you chose love?
Can you believe we made him?
At least we did one thing right.
It's only natural to wonder what if.
Ordinary Joe. Stream every episode on 9 now.
I have a family that I have to get back to.
The wait
Gavin.
is over.
And I know that's something that you understand. Welcome home. We're being hunted.
More sinkholes are coming.
Basketball. From live mentoring sessions to panel sessions, exclusive interviews with the biggest names in the sport, education and upskilling courses.
Do not underestimate the power of a good blind. Take this exhausted couch. Now it stands before you. Magnifique. Even this cocktail of dead skin is gracefully waltzing. Da 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 da. DIY blinds. Change the ugly.
They donated toxic land to a school. Someone put it there, deliberately.
You said this case was unwinnable.
Don't make this personal. It's already personal. Dad, what happened here? There's something you're not telling me. Burden of Truth. Stream complete seasons on 9 now.
Records will tumble. Heroes born. The world's best short course superstars go for gold. Live from Melbourne, Kyle Chalmers, Mac Horton, Emma McKeon, Brendan Smith, Minna Atherton and Katie McEwen lead a world-class Aussie team. Ariane Titmus, Ian Thorpe and Gian Rooney host the FIBA World Swimming Champs. Starts Tuesday on 9 and 9 now. It's the biggest WNBL season yet, and superstar Lauren Jackson returns. Turn it up. Don't miss a block. contestant or game winner.
Southside steal the win.
WNBL, live on 9 now.
You get one song to listen to for the rest of your life. What is it?
Oh my gosh, this is one I couldn't get. I think I dozed off.
This is a hard one.
Feel So Close by Calvin Harris.
Dancing in the Moonlight.
Justin Bieber, You, because it's my wedding video song, so it's good memories.
Oh, don't ask me that. You're beautiful. Beautiful.
I Thought You Got Me.
Location by Dave and Burna Boy.
Something by Drake.
That's a tough one. Maybe like Flight Facilities, Claire de Lune, something like that.
Untouched by the Voyagers.
Oh no!
Heartache on the Dance Floor is what I just said my favourite song was last week, so I better go with that.
Oh, Candy Shop.
That's the first thing that came to my head. It's the last time I listened to it on my phone.
Our coverage of this Cygnett WNBL game between the Southside Flyers and the Townsville Fire. Great to have your company wherever you're watching. Ben Waterworth with you alongside long-time WNBL assistant coach Mark Alabakov, casting his expert eye across this game. Almost set for a start in this third quarter, Mark, and it feels like it's hard to know which way this contest is going to go.
Absolutely. This quarter is going to be really key. I think even with the absence of Lauren Jackson not playing up until this point, there's been a really good cameo from Carly Ernst for the Flyers. Beck Cole is firing. Can they get Abby Bishop going on the offensive end, or even some looks for Kayla Thornton, who's been hot?
Beck Cole will have the inbounds pass. She's got 12 points, a team high 12 points for the Southside Flyers. Thornton has 11. Cole hoping to add to her tally with a long range three. Missed it. Maddie Rocci back out on the floor. Couldn't get that two to go. And we didn't see a lot of Maddie Rocci in that second quarter. She's only played just under 9 minutes in that first half. Hawkins. The foul. No, take that back. It's a travel against Hawkins in the end. So the Flyers will get the ball back.
It's going to be important for Townsville to get her going on the offensive end. She can be such a dangerous scorer for them. She's only had the 2 points so far off 6 attempts.
Six rebounds as well for Hawkins. Hoping for a bit more offensive output. What a pass from Cole, almost between the legs of her opponent. Bishop on the turnaround, loves a turnaround attempt, Abby Bishop. That one fell short. Reed will bring it away. Both teams relying very heavily from a scoring perspective on their starting five so far. And for the Fire, Steph Reed is smashing it for the Townsville Fire.
And she's so, I mentioned earlier, agile and able to fit in the small spaces, and she changes direction in really sharp angles. She gets to the rim almost at will.
Great pass from Rochi. Bishop missed the attempt. Might have a second crack here. And second time lucky for Abby Bishop.
If she can get going for the Flyers in this one, it's going to be a massive help for their cause.
And she had just the one field goal in that first half, Abby Bishop. Then rotating through there. There's quite a fair bit, though. What a crossover from Reed. And a lovely pass inside for McSpadden, who's, if you're just joining us, spending a bit more time on the floor at the State Basketball Centre tonight because Michaela Roof is on the bench at the moment. She picked up an injury pretty early on in this contest, and it looked like an injury that we probably won't see her for the rest of the game. And I'm sure the Fire in the coming days will be confirming the severity and the extent of Michaela Roof's injury. Bishop hoping for a pass and a cut inside from Thornton. It comes off, as do the points from Kayla Thornton, who's up to 13.
Absolutely elite footwork with the drop step and spin. She was able to keep the ball shielded and protected so she'd have an uncontested shot at the rim.
Here is Hawkins. Bishop in her face here. Now called off the ball on the Southside Flyers, who were well into the bonus in that second quarter as Reed and Nicholson drew ample fouls. From the restart here. Long range attempt goes down. And the Fire, a solid start in this third quarter. Maddie Rochi tried to drive inside, but ran straight into the Lauren Nicholson wall, who forced a jump ball. And possession arrow is with the Townsville Fire.
There's a famous basketball coach, Mike Dunlap, that has the phrase, make the play that you see, not the one that you want. Maddie Rochi had a left-hand drive there, came back to her pet right hand and put herself into trouble.
Reed for Samuelson, who's been hot from deep, and she continues that form. Terrific finish from Samuelson. That is her fourth triple of the game. Blitzars drives hard inside. She can't connect, but will head to the free throw line nonetheless.
She looks like she's been empowered to be a little bit more of a scoring threat compared to perhaps what you're used to seeing in recent games. With the absence of Lauren Jackson, she stepped up and had 9 points so far within the contest, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. She's having a big influence on this game.
Playing a lot of minutes in this game as well, Sarah Blitzarves. Constant member of the Opals lineup for a number of years. A constant presence in this Southside franchise for a number of years as well, alongside Bet Cole and previously great Jenna O'Hay. Here's Reed. Samuelson, the 1-2 almost didn't come off. Hand in there from Maddie Rochi. We haven't seen Lauren Jackson at all so far in this game. He's listed as an option to come off the bench as Reed steps back. And I don't think that even caught any of the net. So, turnover.
And credit Maddie Rochi for that, getting a little hand in to poke the ball loose, disrupting the timing of Steph Reed, and then to contest the shot.
Here's Amy Rochi for Bishop. Blitzarves for Thornton, for Maddie Rochi. Quick ball movement. Bishop, Amy Rochi. Caught in a bit of a tangle there. Good defense from Hawkins. And that is off the hands of the Flyers. So Townsville can reset from their backcourt here.
that possession was looking ominous. They did a really good job of executing, changing sides of the floor. I think there was a bit of a miscue with Kayla Thornton having to roll to the basket, and she was a full probably second and a half late, and that's where she wasn't able to get the layup that was probably intended from the play.
Pretty even contest, as you'd expect, between these two top four sides. As Reed knocks down a deep two, takes her tally to 16 points. Steph Reed continuing her excellent 2022-23 campaign. Timeout called at the State Basketball Centre, and the Townsville Fire hold a 55-48 lead, and it is the guard damage so far for the Townsville Fire. As we have a look at this timeout, which is brought to you by DIY Blinds. To fit out your home with Australian-made designer quality window furnishings at the best prices, with DIYblinds.com.au to order your free samples today. DIYblinds.com.au, designer quality at the best prices. Looking at some of the numbers so far in this game from an individual perspective, Nicholson leads all comers with 19. Reed and Samuelson with 14. Samuelson's really bobbed up with 14. She's been deadly from beyond the arc so far today, Mark.
She really has, and her ability to stretch the floor means that you've got to guard her quite tightly, whoever her matchup is. So it frees up some space. You're almost playing 4-on-4 with more space for Nicholson to go off the bounce, Reed to go off the bounce, which they're obviously elite at being able to do, but to give them that type of spacing puts them in even more of a position to be successful.
7-point advantage for the Townsville Fire. Bishop with a quick inbounds pass for Amy Rocci. A lot of minutes off the bench today. Amy Rocci. Thornton. Import goes to work. Great defense though from Samuelson. Good pass though out to Maddie Rocci. She got some contact on her way through, so the shot clock will reset here.
The Fire back into that matchup zone as well. I think when you've got a team the quality of the Flyers, you've got to change your defensive schemes to not allow them to get into any sort of rhythm.
Maddie Rocci easily gets around Reed. Had a really good look at the hoops. The finger roll drops. The Flyers get a basket back. 6 points for Maddie Rocci in this one.
The Flyers in a zone of their own defensively.
Samuelson for Reed, who has 5 to shoot now. Beautiful pass from Hawkins inside. McSpadden missed the first, but got the crumbs and nailed the second.
Great second effort, being able to put that ball away.
Showed great balance underneath the basket there, Lara McSpadden. Big opportunity for her personally today to step up in the absence of Roof. Bishop hoping for the cut inside from Thornton, but those crafty defensive hands of Lauren Nicholson spotted it out of bounds. Halfway through this third quarter, and the Fire just with a handy 7-point advantage. Just responding to every Flyers challenge at the moment. Ernst. That's a pass on board, but there's a foul on the there against the Townsville Fire. It's their third foul in this third quarter. Thornton, Amy Rocci, Ernst goes to work inside and gets the 2 to drop. Carly Ernst off that ability inside the arc. Nicholson off the screen. Can't hit the triple. Big rebound from McSpadden. Come off her hands though, but that's a nice confidence booster for her to get that hands cleanly off the offensive rebound there.
Chance for Coach Chambers here to call a play. So whatever it is that the team runs, they're confident in being able to get a good look. So this is a shoulder tap play. We'll see a cross screen here for Thornton to come to the ball into a little post up. But she turns it down and comes up.
And Maddie Rocci says, thanks very much, I'll take the 2. Right underneath the basket, uncontested. And a couple in a row here for the Flyers. They're back within 3.
You just feel the momentum start to swing in their favour in the past couple of minutes.
This is Ledger Walker on screen, firing from deep and knocking down the 3.
That's hard to do. She's not played a lot of minutes, Ledger Walker, but to come in and hit a big shot in the context of the game, really, really difficult to do. A tremendous job by her.
Bristol Ledger Walker with her first points of the game. Played just the 3 minutes so far in this contest. Making an impact. Beck Cole back on the floor for Southside. The second player off the bench to score for Townsville, Bristol Ledger Walker. Cole wants some movement up ahead. Ernst got the pass. Again, trying to step inside, put up that difficult 2 attempt. McSpadden gobbles up the rebound. 3.5 to play in the third. Ledger Walker, guarded by Rocci, gets the screen from McSpadden. Allows Nicholson to go to work baseline, who draws the contact. Can't get the 2 to go. Nonetheless, we'll head to the charity stripe to shoot a couple.
And probably didn't need to get airborne there, Carly Ernst. I thought she was great with her rotation to come and try and blow up that drive from Lauren Nicholson. All she needed to do was to park herself in that driving lane between Nicholson and the basket and wall up and be really tall, force a contested shot.
First look at the charity stripe for Lauren Nicholson in this third quarter. She's 9 of 9 so far in this game. Now 9 of 10. Nicholson and Reed, as we've mentioned a couple of times throughout the call, the ability to draw fouls has caused some headaches for the Flyers defence. Nicholson hits the second. Again, back out to that 7-point differential. First player into 20 points tonight, Lauren Nicholson. Ernst thought about the deep 3. That's hard inside, then threw it into row A.
Might have seen those teal-coloured chairs.
Yes,
they might have been distracting.
Confused. They really do stand out there on the sideline, just behind Hawkins with that inbounds pass there. Ledger Walker goes to work. Anderson trying to cut inside as well. She's been doing most of her work on the outside offensively. And there she is on cue for a 5th triple. Can't get it to go, but they get a fresh 14 for Townsville Fire. Ledger Walker with a lovely crossover. Hoping for a cut inside. Samuelson almost provided it. And that pass from Hawkins just had a bit too much heat on it from McSpadden. And the Flyers can reset.
If Ledger Walker held on to it just for 1/2 second longer, I reckon she would have seen Carly Samuelson cutting to the basket there.
Yeah, she was threatening there, Samuelson. Pass from Rocci, a little sloppy. Still a Flyers ball.
I think traditionally when you're a great 3-point shooter like Samuelson is, you've got to be a great back cutter.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get so much attention, people playing tightly to you on the perimeter.
Maddie Rocci lobbing it in for Cole. Speaking of great cutters, who kicks it out wide, and Amy Rocci hits the triple.
She comes up with big baskets for them when they need it. She's habitually done that over the course of her career.
Hawkins, though, responds at the other end for the Fire. Good response from Hawkins, who hasn't been their most prolific scorer. Great ball movement, and Thornton really raising up high there. And drops it in for 2. So, baskets in quick succession for both teams here.
For players 6'4" and above, I think Carly Ernst is an elite passer of the basketball, even though we had that pass to the chairs earlier. As elite a passer of the basketball as I've seen.
Amy Rocci kicking herself that she didn't knock that one down. With just over 1.5 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Nicholson somehow found some space. Again, a great offensive rebound from Lara McSpadden. 7 to shoot here. Ledger Walker kicks it out. Good open look for Hawkins, who can't knock down the 3. Bet Cole colours it like her life depends on it.
They really need to get Hawkins going. They need one more scorer. I think it's going to be tough to try and rely upon Nicholson and Reed to keep them going across the entirety of the 4 quarters.
Ernst backing down. Hawkins thought she got all ball there. Referee thought otherwise, and Carly Ernst will be heading to the charity stripe. And it's wonderful to see Carly Ernst back in the WNBL. It's such a terrific contribution for the Melbourne Boomers last season in their championship campaign. Came back into the WNBL pretty quickly after giving birth. Now she's back with the Southside Flyers, and a versatile player, a threat for any opposition. Hits both free throws, and the Flyers back within touching distance now. As Ernst takes a seat and Blitzarves comes back on. Reed with under a minute remaining. For Hawkins, for Samuelson. She's got 14 points. Carly Samuelson brings Hawkins out of the game here. Tough attempt. She can't get that one to go. She's disappointed no call was made. Cole at the other end for Thornton. Cole wants it back. Open look for Beck. Cole for three. In and out.
Didn't get the user-friendly role, as John Casey would say.
Great JC. Speaking of JC, one of his favourites, 11-second differential between game clock and shot clock. Here is Lauren Nicholson for Reed. Has Thornton right in her face. Is she going to go over it? No, it goes for Nicholson, who pulls the trigger and is well off target as the shot clock ticked down. And the Flyers will now have 11 seconds to work with. If they can get one back here, just before the three-quarter time buzzer, what momentum that would give them. Can Maddie Rocci deliver? It might be Beck Cole. Puts up the three. Well off target. Flyers work themselves back into the game late in that third quarter, particularly in those last 3 minutes. Able to hit 7 points to 2 in those last 3 minutes of that third quarter, and they find themselves marked within a couple at three-quarter time. Townsville 63. The Southside Flyers 61. It feels like we're going down to the wire.
This could be into overtime potentially.
Oh, yes.
We've got a 2-point margin. I think that quarter probably belonged to the Southside Flyers. It was played a little bit more on their tempo. I think that they alleviated some of the pressure of fouling and putting the Townsville Fire to the free throw line. So they're defending cleaner. They're being able to create the shots that they want, and they're back in this contest.
Now look at some of the key numbers so far. Townsville Fire have been well on top in the rebound count all game. But for the Southside Flyers, we have a look at the points in the paint, their ability to find some of their bigs inside the perimeter so far has caused some headaches for the Townsville Fire.
Yeah, and the balance that they can have with their roster. So they generally shoot the three-point shot at around 48%. So that's normalized compared to, I think it was above 50 out of half time. But it's the points in the paint that gives you that balance offensively that then opens up the range of what you're able to do on the offensive end. And it's tough to stop individual talents, but then also tough to stop the shot types that they're able to create and knock down.
Just joining us as well, and missed the earlier result from today. The UC Caps and the Sydney Flames went head-to-head, and the Flames emerged victorious despite being on the home floor of the Capitals, the National Convention Centre. The Flames, the 92-80 win over the Caps. And coming up after us in the Southside Flyers Townsville Fire game, we've got another terrific contest. The red-hot Bendigo Spirit hosting the in-form Adelaide Lightning as well. It just feels like the Lightning are starting to get their groove together in the past couple of weeks. Won a lot of games in recent rounds. And they take on the ultimate test in the Bendigo Spirit. So Mark and I will be with you for that in about an hour's time. But before that, we've got a last quarter to play between the Southside Flyers and the Townsville Fire. Mark, who wins from here?
I think that the Flyers are going to have some momentum that they'll carry through. I've got them by 5 points.
Ooh, like this. Great to have Mark Alabakoff, part of our WNBL commentary team. So we start this third quarter, and Rocci lobbing it in for Thornton underneath the basket. You'd fancy herself there against Woods, and she was able to draw the contact. First foul in this third quarter.
It's a great start, and look, for the Fire to get themselves a win here away from home and be able to get back on the winners list, they need another scorer within the lineup. You've got 20 points from Nicholson, who's playing her heart out. The same with Steph Reed with 16 points. Samuelson's contributed 14. You need one more that's able to give you double digits. Right now, you've got McSpadden on 6. Hawkins only on 4. She's probably the more predictable one that can catch a little bit of fire, but just looks a little bit out of rhythm at the moment.
Big deep breaths for Kayla Thornton. She hits a couple. And we are all tied up at the SBC. Great to have you with us wherever you're watching. We've got a cracker top 4 clash. Team 2 high-quality WNBL outfits. Foul off the ball. Reed appealing. Abby Bishop also appealing after the call is made. She's not too pleased with the call.
We talk about overcoming challenges. For the Southside Flyers, it's emotional control. Like, can you deal with these little foul calls? Can you deal with a little bit of a momentum swing and stay on task? If they can, they're certainly talented enough to be able to get the result. Just got to stay in touch with emotion.
Got 4 fouls as well for Abby Bishop as Reed misses that attempt. Cole on the fast break for Bishop. For Maddie Rocci. Travelled. Let off there for the Townsville Fire as Rocci commits the turnover.
Having worked with Coach Guy Malloy during my WNBL career, he always had a phrase that you have to have a mental flush. Be able to flush whatever's just happened, get on to the next possession.
So Bishop takes a seat. Ernst back on the floor for the Southside Flyers. Reed, open look for 3. She can't get it to go. McSpadden and Thornton collide. And that is deemed to be off the hands of Thornton. So Townsville will have a look here with 14 seconds on the shot clock. Steph Reed, still so young, but she's calling the shots here. Rightly so, considering the form that she is in and the maturity beyond her years that she's playing with. Samuelson for Nicholson. McSpadden will set the screen here. Nicholson picking it out for Samuelson, who's been hot from this range. She has an open look, and she knocks it down all nylon. 5 of 8 from deep today, Carly Samuelson. She gives the Fire back the lead, and then they win the ball back through Reed. Huge couple of plays there from Townsville. Nicholson hits the 2. And just like that, Townsville take a 5-point advantage.
So that's the emotional control that I'm talking about. I mean, you have a rushed play on the back of a defensive possession that doesn't go your way, and then all of a sudden now the margin's out to 5.
Cole goes to work, kicks it out for Maddie Rocci in rhythm. Makes a really important 3, Maddie Rocci.
And that'll help, that'll settle them now. If they can get a stop here, they'll be back into the swing of things.
Into double figures goes Maddie Rocci. She's got 11 points. But Samuelson at the other end is putting on a clinic from deep.
Absolutely cannot go under a screen for Samuelson. Not when she's shooting at this clip, or I'm sure that's not part of the scout on how you're trying to blow up her strengths. But underneath that screen you go, and she's able to step back from behind it and knock the 3 down.
6 of 9 tonight, Carly Samuelson, so far in this contest. Prior to this round, Carly Samuelson was 7 of 16 the entire season. She's 6 of 9 tonight in 1 game.
So that extra scorer that I alluded to the Fire really needing, she stepped up and been able to make some plays here.
This timeout is brought to you by Aussie Hoops, which has a program, well, the Aussie Hoops program rather, has had its biggest year to date with over 42,000 participants registering to a local Aussie Hoops centre nearby. Aussie Hoops is the perfect introduction to the world of basketball for kids aged 5 to 10. Whether your little one is a seasoned basketball fan or simply looking to get out there and give it a go, we have no doubt they'll have an absolute ball of the time. Register now at aussiehoops.basketball to start your basketball journey. 71 to 66 rather in favour of the Townsville Fire. Still plenty of time in this game to go. 7 minutes and 51 seconds on the clock. And the foul is called against Steph Reed. Oh no, it's a travel. Reed acted like she'd given away the foul. She had given away the foul. I was getting conflicting signs there from the referee, but Reed has given away the foul. That is her 4th foul, so she takes a seat. There's a list of fouls. We saw Abby Bishop beforehand. She's got 4 to her name as well. As McSpadden, straight up in the cylinder, swats it away.
And that's the type of play that I was alluding to earlier that Carly Ernst can make at 6'5".
Yep.
It's great defense from McSpadden.
Impressive game from Lara McSpadden. Thornton, good look here for a mid-range 2. Misfires. Blitzarv's offensive rebound. Can't get it to go. Ernst can't tip it in. And the Flyers still have the Sporting. With 7.5 to play in the 4th quarter. Great to have your company. On 9 now for this Cygnett WNBL clash. The Fire and the Flyers going at it. 2 players take a tumble. Cole and Nicholson, 2 great mates. Turnover in the meantime. Ledger Walker for Samuelson, who's got the hot hand today. McSpadden. Ledger Walker. Hustle defense here from the Flyers. Gets the screen from McSpadden. Now has Carly Ernst for company. She's able to get a hand to the ball, and it's off the Fire, and they win the ball back.
Difficult to make a pass over the top of Carly Ernst if you're Ledger Walker. You'd probably want her making a pocket bounce pass, and that could have been a layup attempt.
Credit to the defense of the Flyers as well. They able to force the turnover. And Maddie Rocci goes to work. For Ernst. Can she do it at the offensive end of the floor? She can't on this occasion. McSpadden with another rebound. She's up to 9 rebounds, Lara McSpadden. Almost stepped. Did she step? She did, yes. Hawkins almost in slow motion with that travel. Turns it over. Let off there for Southside.
Just one of those games for Hawkins at the moment.
She's 2 of 9 from the field. She's certainly contributed from a rebound perspective with 9, but that's her 6th turnover that she's committed. Cole for Blitzards, wide open for 3. Can't get it to go. Ernst can't get the rebound either. Don't go anywhere. This one feels like it's going down to the wire. Ledger Walker for McSpadden. Trying to hand off to Samuelson, but she's getting some pretty close attention from Blitzards. Hawkins. Offensive foul is called. And her topsy-turvy night at the State Basketball Centre continues.
Now, in saying that, fantastic job by the Flyers in the way that they've defended her. They've made life really tough. They've got an opportunity here to cut into this lead. I think they've got to go inside, whether that's off the dribble or with some post action. A lot of their play has been perimeter based, and it's going for those home run plays, and you don't need that yet. You've got 6 minutes of basketball. There's plenty of time.
Ernst gets it to go. Terrific pass inside. Ernst rewards that find as well. Timeout called at the State Basketball Centre with just over 6 minutes remaining, and we've got a 71-68 ball game. Been hard to get a read on how this match will go right throughout the contest to date. It feels like we will not be getting a read right up until the final buzzer, and it will, as you mentioned, Mark, it might come down to who handles the emotion in the clutch best.
Absolutely, and I mean, in the short term, it's going to be interesting to see what Coach Shannon Seabohm does with Steph Reed. She's obviously in that foul trouble, but she's been so influential on the game. So how long do you keep her out, knowing that one more foul will obviously put her out of the game entirely, but she's going to be the one that's going to steer you across the line. So it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't decision. But on his case, you don't need to foul her out yourself by keeping her on the bench. You probably need her out on the floor. You've got to play to win right now.
Well, she's got 4 fouls, Steph Reed, but also so does Tiana Hawkins. She's got 4 fouls to her name. Overall, the Townsville Fire both teams going at 44% clip from the field.
And there's ways that you can hide her too. You know, maybe it's a situation where you play some zone when the ball is scored, or if it's a dead ball inbound situation, so you're guarding an area as opposed to a person less susceptible to fouling.
Samuelson brings the ball up the floor. Ledger Walker, guarded here by Maddie Rocci. Screen again from McSpadden. Nicholson receives, now McSpadden, big moment for the young gun here, and she almost comes up with a hook bucket. Offensive rebound, ends up with Nicholson, who hits the 2. Back out to 5 points. Blitzarves. Maddie Rocci, Thornton. Cole loses her footing. Thornton went with the fancy attempt, but didn't come out. She's down behind play still. Thornton at the other end of the floor. It's a 5-on-4 here in favour of the Fire. And there's a holding foul in the key that the Flyers just cannot believe. Maddie Rocci is called for the foul. Thornton is back at the other end of the floor. She's back out to her feet, which is good signs. As Carly Ernst takes the seat. And Bishop is back out on the floor with 4 fouls to her name. 5 minutes and 9 seconds on the game clock. Ledger Walker from McSpadden for Ledger Walker. 10 to shoot. Samuelson, no room to move. Maddie Rocci guarding her. Samuelson finds a way through and lays it in. Big play from Carly Samuelson. Maddie Rocci at the other end, kicks it out. And Blitzarves can't hit the triple. Big play from the Fire, and they're back out to that handy 7-point advantage.
That was a clean look too, so in transition, you'd be happy with that 3-point attempt.
Nicholson v. Cole. Thornton was fouled. (75-68) in favour of the Fire. There's the 4th team foul on the Townsville Fire in this last quarter. Kayla Thornton will be going to the line. Had a big game so far. Kayla Thornton, 17 points, team high for her. She's an 81% free throw shooter so far this season. It's the first one to drop.
The roll of the dice by the Flyers, putting Potch on the floor, having played only the 4 minutes in this really critical time. Fantastic athlete. Let's hope it pays off for them.
Sarah Blitzarves is the one who's taken a seat. The Thornton makes both. Samuelson with the basketball. And with plenty of pace. Nicholson receives. McSpadden doing a lot of hard work there at the top of the key. Ledger Walker has a look for 3 and knocks it down. Every time the Flyers challenge, the Fire have a response. Here is Potch. For Cole. For Thornton, steps back. Can't get it to go. Long rebound for Samuelson, and she copped and knocked to the face there from Potch on their way through. That's the 3rd foul on the Flyers in this quarter. What a game. Carly Samuelson, 22 points, 6 of 9 from 3-point territory. Ledger Walker had some great minutes off the bench as well. She gets around Maddie Rocci, kicks it out for Samuelson. Steps back. She can do no wrong, Carly. She is pumped, as she should be. The Fire, away from home, lead by 10 points with under 4 minutes remaining, and we've got a timeout.
That's a massive shot in the context of the game, and she's had a tremendous game from the three-point line. Really good driving kick from Ledger Walker. In saying that, if I'm Coach Seabom, I think I've been able to get what I needed, patching some of those minutes, keeping Reed out of foul trouble, and then I'd probably roll her out here for the last 3 minutes 54 just to steer us over the line.
Yep.
And then knowing that if she fouls out, you've got Ledger Walker who's done a tremendous job that you can fall back on.
She's played almost 11 minutes, Ledger Walker. Come up with the 6 points, a couple of rebounds, perfect from triple territory, 2 of 2 for Ledger Walker. Nicholson with 24, Samuelson with 22, and they've done it without from an offensive point of view, Mark, they've done it without a big influence from Tiana Hawkins, who's only got the 4 points with 2 and 9 from the field.
Which is really challenging, and their depth is challenged as well at the moment with the injuries that they've got. They didn't need Michaela Roof to go down, so that's been really unfortunate for them. But so far, I mean, outstanding job being able to cover for those losses and just believe in one another. And I mean, you see that in the way that people from the bench come in and play. McSpadden, Ledger Walker, they come in and they play on an even keel and just do what they do best.
McSpadden, 6 points and 9 rebounds for Lara McSpadden. The game-high 10-point lead. Maddie Rocci for Thornton. Cole, Bishop, Maddie Rocci must hit this, doesn't. Long rebound for Hawkins. And now the Fire really in the box seat. 3.5 to play. Potch got some heavy attention there from Samuelson off the ball. Potch hits the deck. Offensive foul. Third personal foul for, rather 3 fouls to Potch's name, but she was the one who drew the contact on that occasion. What can the Flyers do here? Maddie Rocci finds a way through, can't hit it. Rebound though for Thornton, who puts it in.
That's a great follow-up. I think when you're playing in these sorts of games and the margin is within touch distance, it really gets eaten into with offensive rebounds, putbacks, or transition scores. It's the effort-based metrics.
21 for Thornton. Samuelson again drives hard inside, backs herself and her ability to drive into the rack or towards the rack. And she draws the contact and will head to the charity stripe for her first free throw attempt of the night. Big game from Carly Samuelson. Came into this game averaging just under 10 points per outing. Before these triple attempts, has 24 to go with 4 rebounds.
Not to mention has played the most minutes of anyone on the floor.
Barely missed it. Spent very little time on the bench tonight, Carly Samuelson. Hits, and it's back out to 10 points. And now everything must go right for the Flyers. Potch, Thornton, guarded by McSpadden. Great spin, showing her class, but she can't get that one to go. 7 of 14 so far tonight, Kayla Thornton. Potch applying the tight defense there on Nicholson. McSpadden for Reed, who is back on the floor and making an impact. Can't get the bounce off the glass that she was after. Maddie Rocci kicks up the tempo. Spins, doesn't give away the foul, hits the 2, all class, Maddie Rocci.
And smart to take on Steph Reed on off the dribble there in transition. Put her in a position to foul, or if she stands off and doesn't, you get a layup attempt.
Ball back with the Flyers now. Samuelson can't believe it. It was right in front of Cheryl Chambers and the Flyers bench, and they were all pointing one way, and the referees agreed that it will be a Flyers ball. 2 minutes and 4 seconds remaining. 8 points to make up from a Southside perspective. Doable. Certainly doable. Maddie Rocci gets the screen from Thornton and then puts it up herself. And it's deemed off Townsville hands. So I have 14 seconds to work with now, the Southside Flyers, as Bishop takes a seat and Blitzarves returns to the floor. And again, they're sticking with Potch in these closing minutes of Southside Flyers. Terrific confidence from Cheryl Chambers in the young gun. Witzarves. The Cole. Drives hard inside. Goes with the left. And can't connect. McSpadden with her 10th rebound of the game. Samuelson, has she got one final dagger left in her arsenal? Nicholson steps back, long two, just off target. Blitzarves for Rocci, Maddie Rocci. Again takes on Reed, goes to work and gets it to go. Count the points as well. To head to the line for an extra.
Big three-point play by Maddie Rocci. I think the Flyers obviously are doing a great job of trying to bully their way into the key and put themselves on the free throw line or in layup territory. I think you need to balance that out with some three-point shooting, and there's not really known three-point shooting on the floor right now. This would be a really good time to roll out Carly Ernst back into the lineup, or even Amy Rocci, who can stroke the three.
Beck Cole, their best three-point percentage player so far this season, heading into the round, 53%. As Maddie Rocci completes the three-point play, 5-point ball game. A minute to go. Don't go anywhere. And we got one final twist left in this seesawing battle. Hawkins for Ledger Walker, for Nicholson for three. Can't get it to go. McSpadden couldn't grab it cleanly. And it's off the hands of Southside. Thornton calling for the video replay. Unfortunately, that's not available. And with 14 seconds, that's on the shot clock now for the Fire. It's a big win for them.
Big implications.
Ledger Walker turns it over, does she? She dives back on top of it, then turns it back over for Thornton. Here we go. Maddie Rocci has Potts streaming forward. Oh, it is a blocking foul call. Nicholson can't believe it.
They got out of jail there. That ball needed to go. It needed to be kicked ahead 2 dribbles earlier than Rocci attempted to make the pass.
.8 seconds remaining, 5-point differential. It's been Maddie Rocci who's really got the Flyers back into this game in the closing stages. And with the Fire in the bonus, Rocci will head to the line. Makes the first. Hasn't had it all her own way today, Maddie Rocci. Barely saw her in the second quarter. She's come back and really lit it up for the Southside Flyers. A little fist pump there as she hits her second free throw and reduces it, Mark Alaback, off to a 3-point ball game. Still with 44 seconds on the clock, and anything is possible.
Absolutely, and with 40 seconds left or thereabouts, we mentioned earlier, now this puts you in a position where you can consider a 2-for-1.
Yep.
So if you're the Fire, do you try and get a quick look, knowing that you'll give the ball back, but then have it to potentially take fouls that stop the clock, get on the free throw line, or if everything goes right for the Flyers, you'll end with possession in order to try and win the game. So I'd anticipate Coach Shannon Seabaum running some type of quick action to get a dribble penetration to the rim, maybe a kick-out three for Samuelson, but then giving a full 24 seconds to the Flyers, knowing that they'll get the ball back for the win.
Samuelson has not had a minute on the bench today at all. She's played the full 39 minutes to date. You can't see her taking a rest anytime soon as well. McSpadden has played 33 minutes herself, with Michaela Roof playing just the 66 seconds. Going down with an injury at the start of the game. McSpadden has stepped up. She's got 6 points and 11 rebounds, 4 of them in the offensive glass, Lara McSpadden. But it has been the Flyers in the past minute that have worked their way back into the contest. Rocci of the Maddie variety has worked her way back into the game with 18 points. Big inbounds pass here for Hawkins, and Ledger Walker has the Sporting. Crowd lifts at the State Basketball Centre. Samuelson guarded very closely by Cole. They're going to use up as much of the shot clock as possible here. Nicholson guarded closely by Potch. Hawkins lobs it in for McSpadden. Can the young gun come up big here? Runs out of time. Shot clock violation. Plays at the floor. Thornton is punched. He punches the advertising board. And with 19 seconds left, the Flyers are down by 3, but they've got the ball. Beck Cole, their best three-point shooter from a percentage perspective. Matty Rocci, second best. Carly Ernst is their third best. I don't see Ernst coming on the floor.
Now, surprising they wouldn't call a timeout here. I anticipate it would be to be able to use the entirety of this 18 seconds worth of shot clock.
Here we go. Final play of the game. It comes down to this. Topsy-turvy contest. Cole thought about it. Steps back. Beck! Missed it. Still alive. Potch for 3. She can't hit. Scramble. Whistle. Players hit the deck. Flyers, I think, have still got the ball. 1.1 seconds remaining.
Last possession, Horns Flare, a big part of Cheryl Chambers' playbook. She's used it with Katrina Hibbert in years gone by, Belinda Snell.
Who's going to take it? Matty Rocci. They're trying to free up Thornton. Oh, what a wonderful defensive play. Lauren Nicholson comes up with the hand. The timing was perfect from Lauren Nicholson. She's one of the best in the competition. And with that play, the Townsville Fire secure a terrific 82-79 victory in a contest that was hard to predict all game. The Fire led by 10 points late in the fourth quarter. Matty Rocci inspired a terrific comeback by the Flyers, but Southside falls short, and Townsville come up with a terrific victory on the road. It's their fourth win, and they go to 4-2. Mark Alabakoff in their great fourth-quarter performance. Terrific game.
Absolutely, and to overcome some of the players that were missing, the early loss to Roof, they're coming off the back of 2 losses, a real character win by then. They'll be wrapped going back up to Townsville on the back of a tremendous result, beating a championship contender.
Been great to have your company wherever you've been watching in this game. We've got the short turnaround. We're heading to Mildura next for the Bendigo Spirit and the Adelaide Lightning. Another quality contest coming your way. But here at the State Basketball